quick geography lesson. We've got England, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. We're going to start our journey in Southend-on-Sea. We're going to drive around London to Cardiff, up from Cardiff through the hills, mountains, and valleys of Wales, then across on the ferry to Dublin, then south of Ireland. We're going to hit Cork, Kerry. We're going to get a ferry across the Shannon, on up through Clare. We're seeing all the sights in the Wild Atlantic Way, so the cliffs, the islands, the hills, the valleys, all the rest of it, on up to near Achill Island, then on to Sligo, Donegal, back to Belfast, ferry to Liverpool, Liverpool back to London. The trip is not going to take into account any towns or anything. Literally, it'll just be me on the bike hitting the sights. So if you're looking for a review of the towns along the way, that's not this video. The bike I'll be taking, I purchased from Salvage, a Copart. It was £800. It was crash damaged. It's registered as a non-structural write-off. It had no keys. It had no logbook. So when I got it, I had to buy a blank key, and I filed the key to fit. Basically, you remove the lock, then you put the key in blank. You'll see the profile that it should be appear on the pins. Then you transfer that to the key and file it off. So we got the key when I started, even though it was 3 years in the lot sitting there. The bike started up first time. I've done some cosmetic work to it. I've changed the pipes here to proper original pipes because these straight pipes were too loud for my neighbors. And the tank had a ding. I couldn't replace. I fixed that ding, so I just replaced the tank. Apart from that, there's been no mechanical changes to it. And then the paintwork is not to my taste, so I resprayed it with rattle can in a silver color, and that's what it's like now. We're going to take this bike on a 2,000-mile trip you've just seen, and we'll see how we get on. So that's just taken off from our house, and it's not 2 minutes down the road, and we come to our first issue with the bike. I had installed a USB charger. I pulled over here to plug in my USB charger, and it just would not work. So no matter what way I plugged it in, the USB charger was dead. I later found out that I think the fuse had blown, but I had no spare fuses with me, and I really needed to move on the road, so I just did without for the time being. So we had an issue. This is the starter solenoid. So when you press the ignition, this starts up, makes contact, turns over your engine. For some reason this got stuck on. So it was like I just was holding the starter on all the time. And it was just, no matter what I did, cut the power, pull out the keys, hit the ignition, the thing on the emergency cutoff, it just kept pushing itself along, trying to start itself. So when I pulled off the panel, I knew this what was the issue. This was all melting, all the cables were getting real hot. So I have managed to get off the nuts real quick. I pushed it up against that, so that, and then I got to neutral. It was just a panic, you know, but it was constantly turning over. Anyway, I've taken off the nut, and now I started putting that to that. That's how I started from now on. Pulling the clutch, we're starting to that. It's alright. So, pull the clutch, touch that together, and it should run. I'm not sure if I need the key in it or not, but it's in it at the moment. Ignition is on. Alright, and hopefully this will keep running for another bit like that. Day two was a bit of a hectic one because, first of all, I decided to catch an earlier ferry. It was probably a bit too early, so I had to hightail it as fast as possible to catch the 10 a.m. ferry. And as you can see here in this photograph, I was the only one on a cruiser. Everybody else rode the big adventure bikes and cost a lot more. There's a photograph of Ireland just in the distance. So I got off the ferry and just went and did a bit of farming at home in the Midlands, and then that was it for that day. We're in Cork, West Cork someplace, and I have another issue. Well, had another issue. See this here bolt, that's not the original bolt. That's the original bolt. And I stopped and it had come out, which is wobbling about. And the last few threads on the end here have stripped. So I wasn't able to bolt it back in. So I've stolen a bolt from here, which is long enough, but without it, this is swiveling about the indicators. So I've put my extension bar for my socket set in there, and that should keep it from spinning. Let's hope it stays going and there's no more issues. After doing Donegal, the weather started to come in pretty bad. The rain and clouds came in, so the sights weren't really as good to see because of the cloud coverage, so it wasn't as dramatic. But the bike had made it that far, which I was delighted with, and I then hightailed it for the ferry back to the UK. No issues to report, no scenery to really report on either. It was just motorway the whole way. But overall, I was delighted that the bike made it this far.